Um, I'm here to talk about Feature, a North London grime magazine. Feature is hopefully going to be the breakthrough for the front and information of the grime culture. Grime breaking through the scenes in 2016 has had a massive success on the UK population and worldwide. And we feel that with artists and performers such as JME and Skepta originating from North London, we feel like it will be a great opportunity to exploit the market. And obviously with two big names like them and on the front cover, it would be a great way to start the magazine as they're quite well known already. Our aims and objectives. Our aims are to provide up-to-date information on the artists' events in the grime scene, with paper magazines being hard copies of the magazines being released on a fortnightly basis, with an aim to hopefully expand the magazine from North London to the whole of the UK and potentially worldwide as well. We want to be the trusted source of information and the go-to people to hear everything that's new about new artists and existing artists. These are the fonts that I selected. The font on the left is the main font used for the masthead of the magazine. It will be the main title of the magazine on the front cover and of the main feature article in the magazine. I selected it because it's big, it's bold, the capitals is quite in your face, and I feel like that represents the genre of music. The one on the right, the middle one, is the Coverline magazine, the Coverline font, and it will also be used as the cover line in the articles as well. I used it because of a similar reason. It stands out and it's bold, so I feel like it follows the structure of the magazine. And the last font is Arial and Arial Black. They have a strict look. Again, they also stand out very well, and I feel like if you see on the sample where it says Man of the Moment, I feel like it really stands out as the line. It grabs your attention. And the colour scheme, I've gone for black, white and gold. The gold represents the underlying genre in the music, that there's bling, there's gold, there's jewellery, and then the black represents the fact that most of them have come from the street. It's quite a dark themed source of music. In the mood board. In the mood board you can see various images which really showcase how in your face the genre is, and the type of people who are targeted and who listen, and where they come from, for example, like the street and the areas which they originate from. You don't really see many big and vibrant colours, which is what helped me pick the colour scheme of the magazine. For our target audience. Our primary target audience is to sell to people aged 17 to 22. As grime has a lot of explicit language and adult themes in their music, it wouldn't really be right for us to aim for anywhere lower, as obviously it wouldn't be promoting the best music and language and feeling to the younger people. With our with our carefully taken survey, we also established that by the age of 17, the music genre is more appealing, and they start to develop their own music tastes. So this is kind of where they point to, as it's quite popular and out there in other big crowds as well. For our secondary target audience, we chose 23 to 28. As there's still an appeal to the slightly years above, but it was much less listened to, and much less focused on, as they're starting to focus on other things in life that are more important, and they don't really have the time to sit down and solely focus. And our tertiary was anyone who likes grime, because there's always going to be people who don't necessarily fit into the target audience but still like grime and still like to find out more. And the type of people, as I've mentioned, is obviously as the underlining theme of not necessarily coming from the best background, being most wealthy within the art, as the artists. So they're building themselves up, and this is important for our target audience, because obviously we chose not to make our magazine too expensive, otherwise we wouldn't have attracted the people that we know listen to the music genre. For our price and competition, Grime Daily is the main source of competition in London at the moment. However, the advantage that we have is that it's not actually a magazine company. They're a Facebook and YouTube, they're a social media platform, which showcases new talent and old talent. So obviously we're able to take that further and get it down on paper and actually create a magazine-based company, which will help us, as the competition in London isn't big, especially in North London. There are also various other music magazines which include sections of grime, like Clash. However, they don't solely focus on grime, so obviously that's still a gap in the market for us. Our pricing, for the individual sale of a magazine, it will cost £2.50. We chose this because it's still, in comparison to other major magazines, it's still rather cheap. So we felt like it was a good price. And the monthly subscription, which will entail 2 issues of the magazine, will cost £4, which is a saving of £1, which will mean that it will promote this deal more, and it will be more appealing. And the yearly subscription will cost £40. Q Magazine had their individual magazine sale of £4.17. So obviously the gap between £2.50 will provide more interest for our magazine. And the monthly cost of the Q Magazine was £58. The yearly cost was £58. So obviously with the big savings on us, we'll create more competition and hopefully take some of their readers who read it only for grime and focus on us. Our distribution. We plan to sell at corner shops, as they're very prominent in the areas which grime originated from and everything. So it will be easily accessible for our target audience to pick up and purchase. We'd also like to sell at supermarkets to target potentially the more higher end buyers. There's also a lot of activity in supermarkets, so there's more of a chance of people passing by and seeing it and realising they might like it. With the online subscription, grime was already quite a strong identity online, with videos of people coming through and also Grime Daily. So I mean there'll be a great chance for us to exploit that and take it further and create a website. The online editions will contain the same content as the in-hand magazines. However, they'll be updated more frequently, as we'll obviously have the opportunity to, as it will be our domain. The website will require a login, so it's not a free thing as a subscription. The subscription will try and promote the online more, so we try and save on money on paper and also then therefore helping the environment. The legal issues. We'll promote our online subscription more, like I said, so we don't have to waste as much paper damaging the environment. Whilst I had a look at using paper such as biodegradable paper, this would be not necessarily the best option, as if you buy the paper magazine, you may want to keep it for a longer period of time, and then if it degrades, then it would not be possible to keep it, and especially if you're someone who's interested in the magazine, who likes collecting things, then it wouldn't necessarily be the best option for them. As well as this, as previously stated, with the adult themes and the vast amount of explicit language, the people we would be targeting is the younger age. That's it. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Right.
What's the difference here between these? So is this, you obviously started off with your hand drawn,
Yeah.
and then you made this, and then you've got the addition of the gold. So is this more?
That's the closer to the finished product. Obviously with the actual colour scheme, and with the, obviously as you can see with the white bits, the image wasn't necessarily how I wanted it to be in the final product.
How did you want it to be in the final product, like this?
Yeah, like that. So there was the clear background colour, and it all fits well together.
Yeah, no, I think it's really nice. I think you've done some really good work with the layout here. It looks almost like something you could just, that would be on the shelves, which is great. It's an interesting, I don't know whether it's an optical illusion, it's probably not actually. The E in your logo is detached from the rest of the word. So the kerning between these letters, which is the space between two pairs of letters, is greater there than it is on any of the other letters in that block. And what's happening is, it looks like you've got the word feature without an E, and then E at the end. So when I initially saw it, I thought the magazine was called Feature E, which is interesting. And I don't know whether that was deliberate.
No.
Because it's happened here as well. You can see the space is the same. And these feel very kind of crushed together.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I know this is me being incredibly pedantic, but it does go to intent. And when you have something that is so intentional as your logo, it's definitely worth paying attention to the detail and being sure that that's where you want everything to be.
Yeah.
Okay, because looking at it, it does look like the U and the R are very close together. The E is detached. It's interesting that you've used a full stop here, and you've used it there, and you've used it there. And again, that could be a feature for all I know.
Yeah. So the idea was that when you get people who collaborate on the songs, you get like feet, and that's got a full stop in the end.
Right.
But obviously feet, if you get confused, you could just be talking about body parts. So I went for feature, as it also like the point of it is.
So you're alluding to that. that idea
Yeah,
that they
the-
have featured
featured in the
artists.
magazine. And
No, and I think that's brilliant. I think, you know, and that as a statement of intent for a design device, brilliant. There's no reason why you can't have it there, and there's every reason why you should have it there if that's your intent. So if you make that explicit,
Yeah.
then that's really going to strengthen your case for the brand,
Okay.
which is brilliant. Okay, so really good. Colour-wise, obviously we are talking reproduction, sort of fairly low res, just you know, your home printer or whatever it is. So it's difficult to say, but the logo here, tonally, is very, very similar to the grey. Okay, so if you were to look at this as a black and white image,
Yeah.
that would almost disappear
Yeah.
completely. So you just about have it. So what that means basically is that you need to find a way of maybe just bringing it a
Bring it out,
little
okay.
bit further forward. Just making sure the colours work together.
Do you recommend like a box such as
It's
that?
entirely up to you. I mean, because you know that works better, doesn't it? On the dark, you can see how the contrast between those two tones really makes that colour pop there. As soon as you get over here, though, it starts to bleed into the background a bit, and you get this feeling it's not quite sharp.
All right.
You know, that might be intentional.
Yeah.
Don't know. When it comes to the logo, maybe
Just have a-
just darkening it ever so slightly
Yeah.
might work. You know, and it's very subtle quite often. It's just subtle changes, just to make things work in a more effective way. You know, so that the economy is in the user's experience. And by that I mean they don't have to work very hard to get the
read
same
it,
information.
Yeah.
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 So it's really, I think it's really great what you've done. I think, you know, just putting these together in a very sort of subtle and refined look is tremendous. I think it's really good.
It's simple but effective.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, your choice of image really works because it's bold and it's really strong.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like the sort of magazines that are out there, but it has that refined look, which is lovely.
Okay.
So if that's what you were going for,
Yeah.
brilliant, job done, you know, fantastic. I would say something else with the colour thing is, it's probably not a big thing, but online you can get pulled up by people who are really pedantic about accessibility, and when you've got colours that are very similar tonally, that will fail an accessibility test, which means that people who have got trouble seeing, you know, have got, you know, not necessarily blind, because obviously that,
reading.
but when you have trouble seeing, you do get this issue.
Okay.
And even with, you know, me, I've got perfectly reasonable vision despite the glasses. That's bleeding into the background, so it is just another thought again. Okay. So that's cool. Sorry. Yes. Spent far too long talking about that. Fonts. I'll stay on the design tip. You've picked three. Can we actually have a look at them, please? And it's probably easier to talk around them if we've got them up to refer to. There we are. Lovely. Okay, so that's really good. I think I think your choice of fonts is very interesting because they are quite similar. The reason why I sort of pulled them out was are they too similar?
I can understand between these two, so maybe that would be the change.
So I was sort of thinking, I wonder whether there is a sort of thing there where you know, I don't know whether Maximum Impact sounds like it's pretty much a title font. It sounds like something that's generally used. It's not going to be used for body copy, is it?
Yeah.
And Arial is so common as to be almost negligible. It's sort of, you know.
Yeah,
Arial,
so I realise to say it's really common, but I feel like with it is actually very easy to read.
Yeah, it is an easy font to read. Yeah, it's quite limiting because I mean you've only put two weights up there. You've put Arial. Actually, Arial Black isn't a weight; it's a different.
Font.
It's a different font. And you've got an italic. It's down up there. So that's one of the things. Again, Arial's quite limiting as it's generally only got 4 different weights. Yeah, so you've got regular, italic regular, bold and italic bold, and that's about it. So maybe you need to give yourself a larger suite of fonts to work with.
So okay. So
I think
recommend.
that's all. It's only a minor thing,
Yeah, the
but
middle
it's something
one.
to consider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially because it's grime as well. You have the chance to be a bit more experimental and
Yeah.
jazz it up, as to say, you know, yeah.
You could be in danger of it being very refined, in which case the disconnect between the content and the way you're presenting the content could be a little stark. I don't know, but that's what I mean. If you go to the mood board, which I think was really good, I had a lot going on there, didn't it? I mean, you know,
There's lots of different fonts.
there's
so-
lots of different fonts.
Yeah.
Loads. I mean, wherever you look, it's a different look, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And there's, you know, maybe a couple that are just your very refined sans serif font. All the others seem to be kind of, you know, they're really hitting you around the head with these are the different sorts of things we're looking at. So again, it's making the decision as to what your magazine is there for predominantly,
Yeah.
what you're trying to promote and talk about, and then reflecting that in all the different elements and components that you're using to make up the whole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I didn't get your. I'm probably being a bit dense. The pricing. So is this a weekly magazine?
Fortnight.
Fortnightly. Oh, that must be okay, right? Because I was thinking, hang on, isn't
Yeah, I think it's a individual
I must have
fortnightly.
missed it. It's my
yearly.
fault entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. And you use Q as your competition,
Yeah, because I feel like they're the biggest music magazine.
right? Yeah.
So like I said, obviously nothing really focuses solely on grime, but as the biggest competition, like probably the biggest who cover the most wide genres, I think there was something to reflect on.
Yeah, it's just I was sort of interested as to why you picked Q rather than some of the more sort of hip hop based, which are more closely related. Is what I mean.
Okay.
In content, it's just interesting because I think, you know, if you're trying to compare direct competition, the closest is generally the best because that's a more obvious demographic that you're hitting the same thing for. You know, so same sort of people are going to buy the hip hop magazines, probably going to buy the grime magazines because you know, there is a definite crossover, isn't there, between the two genres?
Yeah.
In fact, one's really a subgenre of the other, so I think maybe that's something that you need to sort of possibly look at. And I did write down another thing about you promoting the online aspect, which is really great. And I know the brief was to do an online print thing. How do you see that promoting? So if you're promoting online, how do you therefore keep the print media, the profile of that? Do you cross-promote the other way?
Well, I mean, the idea is that so we save money on printing as well to maximise profit.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't solely just promote the online version, but as I think I said, it was £5 a month.
Yeah.
But then with the print version, if you wanted to live and everything, you had have added costs and everything. So the savings or the cost would hopefully lead more towards the online version.
Right, okay. Because I mean, the concern being is that I think that's fine and the rationale is absolutely right. It makes sense. It's just at some point, you know, the backers, whoever's financing these sorts of things, are going to go, well, if you're saving that much money, why don't you just go completely online? So you'd have to say, right, okay, you'd have to have your argument ready.
Yeah.
Say, well, the reason is, whatever, promotion.
Yeah.
You know, we want to keep it on the streets, we want to keep it as something that's not necessarily digital. That's a USP perhaps, maybe, because we're the only one. There are online grime sites that you can go and find out this information. We're going to be the only ones that are doing this as a print run. You know, we're going to be able to sell this at gigs, we're going to be able to sort of sell this on the streets, like you say, in corner shops, in the places where this stuff grew up, you know, where this stuff has developed. So I think, you know, just having your arguments ready is going to be very useful. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, I think that's all I've got.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
Well done.
That's fantastic, thank you.